What is up, awesome people? And welcome to the Talking Sky with Mom podcast.
Hello.
My name is Marquita, and this is my mom. And we are going to talk about all things Chicago Sky and also some WNBA general stuff as well. All right, so let's get into it. So the Chicago Sky has started off the season 3-1. So a very successful period for the Chicago Sky right now. Let's actually start talking about the Sky's game, the home opener game. It was the Sky versus the Mystics. And that was a pretty interesting game, right?
Yeah, it was actually exciting, to be honest with you. I was happy to see that the new team members had talent.
Mm.
Well, I knew they were part of the league before, and I knew they were veterans in some sort, but to see them actually have talent that was meaningful to Copper adding to what she already has. So I thought that was great to see a balance of different types of talents, those that can shoot the threes well, those that can shoot the mid range, and those at the basket. It was like the game at every aspect, they gained somebody that can do all those things.
Yeah.
And Dana Evans came to light.
Yes.
I don't know where it was. I know last season she was benched, but I don't know if that is the reason why she's coming out firing, and every opportunity she gets, she is doing her thing. We know she's already a defensive player, but offensively, she has turned it up a notch.
Yeah, so in that game, Dana Evans had 10 points and 4 assists. She had 1 3-pointer. So pretty solid effort on her part. And as you mentioned, very defensive minded. That's something that I've noticed quite a bit from Dana Evans this season, is that she is really, really focused on like getting at these defenders, and even at some point going full court.
Yes.
With the pressure. I really like that from Dana Evans. The player of the game for the Sky standpoint was for sure the newest acquisition, Marina Mabrey. She played very well in this game. What was her stat line? She scored 19 points, had five rebounds, 4 assists. She played well. It seems like she is for sure getting acclimated to this team. There were some times where it seemed like she was not quite sure what the next play was. There was a bit of disconnect between her and Copper at sometimes, but overall, it was a very, very solid game. Of course, we played against the Washington Mystics, and when you play the Washington Mystics, you have to face the former Sky player, Elena Deladon, and we just couldn't stop her. She was dominant basically the entire game, and it's just kind of nothing you can really do with Elena. She finished the game with 25 points, and yeah, she was just dominant throughout.
But the Sky did come together, and in that game, they only lost by 2 points.
Yes.
So I don't know if you want to talk about the injuries that happened, but I think that played a part as to them not winning. I think it was the last 50 seconds of the game that kind of like determined who was going to win. So the Sky had a chance to actually beat the Mystics.
They did. Yeah. And let's talk about the injuries. So yes, the Sky lost by 2 points. The final score was 71 Washington Mystics and 69 Chicago Sky. Important to note is that we had 2 huge injuries in this game. Morgan Birch got injured in the first half. And I believe they're saying she had an ankle injury. And so she was injured, did not come back. It was, I think, the last minute or so of the first half she got injured. And then she's our starting power forward right now since Isabel Harrison is out. And so we had to deal with the whole second half basically having Copper play the power forward position. Right. Usually she is our small forward, but she had to be the power forward because Morgan Birch wasn't available. And then basically at the end of the game, Marina throws I would say a very ill-advised fast break pass to Rebecca Gardner. Rebecca Gardner jumped up,
It came down.
came down very wrong. And they're saying she has a knee injury and she is out indefinitely.
Oh,
So we
really?
don't know how long she'll be out.
I thought they said it was a foot injury though. I know it seemed like a knee injury, but I thought during yesterday's game, the broadcaster was saying that she had a foot injury. That was the reason why she was out. Or did I hear it wrong?
Um,
Did I hear it wrong? I could have heard it wrong by me watching it and not actually being at the arena.
let's see. I thought she injured her knee, and I thought that Birch injured her foot.
Okay.
But
But they said indefinitely?
yeah,
Oh,
that just means that they're just not sure.
I know, but
It could be, um could be a couple games,
mhm.
could be longer.
But I noticed I didn't see her at the game yesterday.
She was at the game yesterday.
So,
She was on crutches at the end of the bench, and
oh, so the end of the bench, they don't get that.
yeah.
The camera doesn't catch
Mhm.
that. Okay.
So she was at the game, but she was very hobbled.
Mm.
So it seems like Morgan Birch will be back relatively soon.
Okay.
It seemed like she was walking just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But Gardner, it's going to be some significant time. At least a week for sure. I mean, because she's on crutches.
Right,
She
right.
wasn't really putting any pressure on her foot. I do believe it was a
You think it was a knee?
I think it was a knee
Okay. Okay.
because it seemed like her kneecap just. I think that's what she messed up
Okay.
in that game.
Okay.
But either way, she got hurt in like the last couple seconds of that Washington Mystics game, and honestly, I think that's partially what cost us the game.
Because had she been able to catch that pass without injuring herself and went up for that basket, it would have took us up at least two,
Yeah,
and it would have made them at least had to score on the other end in order to beat us.
yeah, and even if she wouldn't have made it, I believe Deladon was right there and probably would have fouled her.
And she went to the line.
Yeah, so we would have got something off of that play instead of a player getting carried off the court.
Yeah.
So that was very unfortunate. That was very unfortunate, but we could take solace in the fact that we lost by 2 points against the Washington Mystics team, who I think when it all shakes out at the end of the season, I think the Washington Mystics are going to be like the top 3 team in the league.
Okay.
And so the fact that we were able to withstand a very healthy Washington Mystics team, not having our starting power forward, first in Izzy Harrison, and then also in Morgan Birch when she got hurt. The Sky held in there. And there's a lot of stuff that we should be proud about in sort of handling that game as long as we did.
Right.
So
even though it was our first loss of the season.
yeah. So that made us 2-1. But then we played on Sunday against the Dallas Wings, and we won. It was a good game. One thing to note is that we had a lot of players out. So the Sky had, I believe it was a roster of nine active players.
Right.
So that was something, but players stepped up.
Yes, they did. Every last one of them. And the newest girl, what's her last name?
Sika Kone.
When she got on the court, you could see that she was going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it seems as if she was kind of like reckless at some point because she didn't kind of like know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But what you did know is that she wanted to play. And she acted liked it. And she was even guarding, who was she guarding towards the third quarter? I think it was in the third quarter when he started putting her in. Mm-hmm. She was guarding one of their top players, the other team. Who was that? She was guarding somebody, and they wasn't expecting it. She was going down the court with them. Who was it?
Maybe it was Sabalin. I'm not sure who she was guarding actually.
But she was, and it was surprising because by me watching it on the TV, the sportscasters are giving a lot more information.
Oh,
You all are watching it live, and I'm watching it from the TV, and they're giving their input. And as so certain things I'm seeing, sometimes they do replays, whatever that you won't, that if you missed it, you just missed it. And so I can't remember but she was playing, and she was going for those rebounds. She was aggressive, and even though looks like she's real little, uh, little in a sense of weight wise, but she can go up and down the floor. She can get up and down the floor, and I think that's going to be a great access to them, especially coming off the bench. She's going to give them some energy, and she's going to give is it Elizabeth some rest. Because a lot of times she gets a lot of fouls.
Yeah, I would say an interesting thing about Sika is, had it not been for Morgan Birch getting hurt, I don't think we would have saw Sika play at all in this Dallas Wings game.
Oh wow.
Sika Kone was drafted in 2022. She was in training camp for the New York Liberty this season. And she played 2 preseason games, got waived by the team, was a last minute addition from James Wade to add her to Chicago. And she hasn't really been with the team for very much.
Okay.
I believe she had a root canal right before this guy picked her up, and she had limited capacity because she was sort of recovering from that. And she was just cleared for contact right before the game on Sunday. I believe it was on Saturday she was cleared for contact, and so she doesn't know the plays really. She hasn't really had an opportunity to really, really work with her teammates. And so because of that, I didn't expect her to play until Morgan Birch got hurt. When Morgan Birch got hurt, it kind of limited James Wade's options. So he kind of had to play her because otherwise, like you don't have Morgan Birch, you don't have Gardner. He was kind of running out of options.
Right.
And so he kind of had to play Sika Kone, and she played pretty well.
Yes, she did.
She she had, I believe it was 10 points for this game. And she kind of just, the way I would kind of describe Sika playing, she was like all over the place. She was just like, it felt like she was like the freest thing out there. and at first I was like, I'm not sure about this. But the more she was playing, and as the game kind of went on, I was like, okay, I think I like Sika. I think I really like Sika. She has so much potential that by the time we get to like midway through the season, when she fully understands the system, I think she's going to be a really interesting player for us.
I think so too. Because she's still going to come off the bench, but he's going to need that firepower off the bench, just like Gardner has always provided. He's going to need somebody else coming off the bench with firepower, and hopefully Ruthie will be healthy midway through the season, and she can bring some firepower. Because off the bench, these people, even though they don't play long periods of time, if they can bring some energy when they're there and get some offense while they're there, it's going to be the best thing he can get out of them. And it could be what he expects anyway. Anytime you come off the bench, he wants to see you produce something. You got to give him something in order for him to keep you out there. And I think that's why Dana has gotten so much playing time. Besides the injuries, she's gotten a lot more playing time because of her aggressiveness and what she's produced. And James Wade, like, okay, if you're going to produce, I'm going to keep you out there. I'm going to keep you out there. Especially you're producing offense and defense. I'm going to keep you out there.
Yeah, the Sky had as I mentioned, the Sky had a roster of 9 players yesterday. But James Wade primarily played 8 players. So the starters were Clea Copper, Alana Smith, Elizabeth Williams, Courtney Williams, and Marina Mabry. Off the bench, Dana Evans, Sika Kone, and Christine. Wait, hold on.
You counted it.
Oh, and Anigwe,
Okay.
Christine Anigwe. Those are the players who actually played in the game. But the two that played the most off the bench was Dana Evans and Sika Koenig. Sika Koenig actually played more minutes than Dana, which I didn't realize until I was
You
looking
looked
at the box score, and I was like, oh wow, Sika played quite a bit. Dana brought in 14 points. Sika 10. The star of the game for sure was Marina Mabry.
Oh, Marina. Oh, she was so awesome. That girl was, I was like, get it, girl.
She could play.
She was getting it. She was in her spot and she was letting it fly.
And you want to know motivation, I think, for her?
What?
She's playing against her former team.
Well, they kept saying that.
Yeah.
That was the reason why she wanted to show out.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to make sure that they win, but that she got her points.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to come in my house and win.
Mm-hmm. Because Marina and Enrique were a great duo in Dallas.
And I heard that they still friends too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it was good to see Marina
step
up and play the game that we all know that she can play.
Mm-hmm.
We gave, the Sky really wanted her because she can shoot and she's aggressive.
Yes, she's the energy, she got fire in her fire. When she gets in those refs' face,
mm-hmm.
and when she was at the free throw line, she's still talking to the ref about the other player. Like, wait a minute, let it go, Marina, let it go. But no, she got fire in her belly, as they say. And so, but the Sky needs that though.
Yes.
Yeah, Carper is always gonna get it. Carper, she played a subdued game, even though she got points. She wasn't as aggressive as she normally is. And who else was not aggressive as I thought they normally are?
Well, Elizabeth Williams had a kind of muted game as well. I'm not sure if that's who you're referring to.
No, I'm thinking about the point guard.
Marina's our point. Courtney Williams.
Courtney. She was not, to me. She wasn't her normal self either. She played well, but I don't think the aggressiveness I didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see the aggressiveness as I did in the first two games with her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was hitting it. It definitely was Marina's game yesterday.
Yeah.
And Alana Smith's, even though she kept trying, she didn't really come into her game till like the fourth quarter is when she made a difference.
And she, for sure, Alana stepped up in this game.
Yeah. She's got a limit. She got to stop getting fouled so much.
She does foul a lot.
But in order for her to be effective, though, for the Sky, she's got to stop all this fouling. And she fouls the early parts of the game. So late in the stretch, when they really need her, she's on the bench. At least she wasn't yesterday, but that's what has been the case in those other games. You know, he has to limit her play time because she keeps fouling. She's having 3 or 4 fouls before she get a halftime.
Yeah, she does foul quite a bit. She ended up having 14 points and 12 rebounds and 6 assists on that Sunday game.
Okay.
So impressive stats. But yeah, foul trouble didn't affect her that as much on Sunday. But yes, she does typically have a problem with fouling players. But yeah, so the Sky, we're 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
A pretty good start.
Yes.
To the season.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a very we have a very interesting game on Tuesday. The Sky play the Atlanta Dream. In Atlanta. We should come away from that game with a win.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yes, I think we'll win that game.
Okay.
It's very likely that both Morgan Birch and Rebecca Gardner will not play in that game.
Okay.
Maybe Morgan Birch. We'll see. But for sure Gardner's not going to play. I think we can expect to see a very similar rotation from players. And we'll probably see a little bit more from Courtney Williams and Elizabeth Courtney Williams, Elizabeth Williams, and Clea Conrad. We'll be able to see a little bit more of an improvement on their front. Not that they really need to improve much, but like we'll see more.
Their aggressiveness.
Yeah.
I guess because Marina was so aggressive, it was not needed from every single player.
Yeah.
Because if you got a star player that's putting her firepower in, she is causing the game to keep going like it should. So all you gotta do is play your role,
Mhm.
But when the game is on the line and everybody raises up to another level, that was those games in game 2, I think it was that we played where we won the game 1 and 2. But I'm saying I think it was game 2 where everybody had to play well in order for us to win. So, we got to get to that point where everybody plays well every single game. Whatever it is bothering you, whatever you're going through, you got to throw out your mind when you get on the court. And let's win the game, because the more games you win up front helps us on the back end when the season gets harder.
Yes, I agree with that. Correction that I made earlier. I said that Rebecca Gardner was out indefinitely. It's Isabel Harrison who is out indefinitely.
Okay.
So Izzy underwent surgery to repair a torn left meniscus, and she is out indefinitely. We will see whenever she comes back.
Yeah, that's a tough road to come back. She got to rehab and all that. That's gonna be hard.
It'll be tough, but
she'll do it. She's young.
Yeah, she'll be back with us. I'm very big on Izzy. I think she's a great player. Think she'll be great for us. So come back healthy, Isabella Harrison.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the games that they just played, and then their upcoming game against the Dream. Let's talk about some non-court stuff.
Okay.
So the Sky are thinking about changing their training facility.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Sky, just with all other teams in the WNBA, they're trying to compete for players, right? And the cap space is finite. You can't move that. Every team has to deal with the same amount of cap space. But there's some things that teams can do to kind of bump them up higher than another team. One of that is training facilities.
Mm-hmm.
So the Las Vegas Aces actually just unveiled a new practice facility and team headquarters, making them the first facility in the WNBA
history.
In WNBA history to have a training facility built solely for the team. And I showed you some video of what that facility looks like. It's a 64,000 square foot facility, and it's actually right next door to the Las Vegas Raiders facility. So,
really?
So Mark Davis owns both teams,
okay,
the Vegas Aces and the Raiders, and so it's smart of him and his travel time to make sure that they're both together. And yeah, the Aces facility has a players' lounge with TV and gaming consoles. So if players want to just take a break and play some video games, they can do that. The locker room looks really, really awesome. Each player's locker has a TV in it and a built-in Mac mini computer.
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of cool. They also have a 85-inch TV display in the locker room, a Bluetooth sound system. They have a very nice looking weight room and training area. They have hot and cold plunge pools, infrared sauna, cryotherapy, a nutrition bar. Like they have it all. They have kind of what you would see in a NBA team. They have that level of quality for the Vegas Aces. And as I mentioned, the Las Vegas Aces, they're owned by a billionaire, Mark Davis, who has a lot of money to spend. Yes, he's also doing this primarily, I think, because he's trying to get a NBA team to the Vegas area. But still,
okay. You think that's
ultimately that's the reason why
he's on the draw?
Yes.
Okay.
He wants to let the NBA know how much he is willing to spend and how much he cares about making Vegas the place to go for sports.
Okay.
So I think, coming soon, Vegas will get a men's team. But this is great news for
the women.
These players, they all have key cards. And so anytime that they want to get some shots up, get a workout in, they can do that. They don't have to check in. Like a lot of these other teams, including the Chicago Sky, they practice in facilities that are used by other people. And so they don't have unfettered access to that facility. And so, they would have to make some calls or whatever to try to get a workout in if it's late at night or whatever. But the Vegas Aces, they can go work out whenever they want. And that's a huge benefit for them.
Yes.
And it's an incentive for players to go to Vegas to benefit from stuff like that that's not
available in these other teams.
Yes. And yes, the salary cap is a fixed thing, but these other benefits that you get, is worth it for sure. And that's one of the things that Candace Parker mentioned when she was going over there. She mentioned not really having her own locker, before going to the Vegas Aces. And she has one that's personalized for her, and literally no one else will use that because the facility isn't used for really anything else. And so huge benefit. Also around the league, the Seattle Storm is actually they just started building their new facility. They broke ground on their new training facility that's expected to be finished next spring, right before the 2024 season. Their new training facility will be known as Seattle Storm Center for Basketball Performance, and it will combine the team's facilities into one central location with side-by-side courts, a full locker room, and a lounge, as well as strength, conditioning, and nutritional facilities. So they're trying to do something very similar to what the Las Vegas Aces are doing.
Maybe not on the same scale.
Not on the same scale.
But it's what's needed for these ladies in order for them to improve and have the opportunity to, again, practice or do something that they desire to do without having to schedule it. So what options are the Sky going to have, you think?
Yeah, so the Sky, for those who don't know, the Chicago Sky have been practicing in a public gym for the last several years. So since 2011, they've been practicing out of Saks Recreation Center, which is in Deerfield, Illinois.
It's so far away too.
It's far away, yes. And yeah, that's kind of where they've been practicing. And the team is interested in finding another location to go to. The Sun-Times reporter Annie Costable actually wrote an article about this, and let me kind of read what she's saying, because I think it's an interesting perspective that specifically the Sky are going through right now, but also there's other teams throughout the league who are possibly considering the same thing. So the ownership group is trying to compete with the likes of Aces, the Storm, also the Liberty, who uses the Brooklyn Nets facilities. And Sky principal owner Michael Alter says, now is the right time. If we can find this right location and opportunity, we're going to do it. So they're looking throughout Chicago, throughout the suburbs for a new location. Sky coach James Wade spent some time in the offseason visiting NBA facilities. Also just like trying to see the lay of the land. What are NBA teams doing, and what can the Sky kind of replicate on, of course, a smaller scale? They want to make sure that the team has a facility that benefits the community also, not just gives the Sky a place to practice, but also is a community benefit as well. Like I said, they currently practice at Saks Recreation Center, but they play, which is in Deerfield, but they play in the South Loop of Chicago at Wintrust Arena. And it would benefit them to probably have something that's a facility that's possibly in the city of Chicago. So that way it's not as wild
way.
of a ride.
Mhm.
The Sky have signed a new lease with Saks, and it will go throughout the 2024 season. And the Sky ownership hasn't given a timeline of when they're going to leave, but that's probably the earliest. The earliest opportunity for the Sky to be in a new facility is likely going to be in the 2025 season. And they haven't talked about whether or not they're going to raise the money from the current ownership group of the Sky, or if they're looking to get new investors in
Okay.
to raise that money to make sure that they're able to have what they need. But there is a huge competitive advantage that they can offer if they put the investment in to get a facility. It seems like they're going to likely rent a facility. But yeah,
But even if they rent, as long as they have access,
mhm.
that's the main thing. So if they rent a facility that's shared with someone else, they still may run into that same problem as the one in Deerfield, right? So
Yeah,
it has to be if they do rent, it has to be some level of understanding that they'll still be able to have time when they really need to do something that won't be an interference of other programs or groups.
yeah, and that the Sky takes priority over all other things that happen in whatever facility they decide to rent. So here's what Kalia Copper had to say about this. For what we have here right now, as far as our staff, culture, and team, our own facility is the separation. She says that we have to keep up with the Joneses. As WNBA players, it's important for us to be taken care of. We've gotten so relaxed in just settling for whatever it is we have, but we should demand and want more. This organization is so great that a facility just for us is a game changer. So, the goal is to have a facility
Of their own.
of their own. But we will see.
But it takes money.
It takes money. It takes a lot of money. And if you look at the Sky in comparison to Joe Tsai, who owns New York Liberty, who's a billionaire. You know the Las Vegas Aces ownership, which is owned by a billionaire. Also, Tom Brady has joined as a minority owner.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of money that other teams have to just play with that the Sky doesn't have. And it's kind of weird to sort of think about where the Sky ownership group, yes, they're very wealthy people. They're for sure they are millionaires. But if you compare them to billionaires, they're kind of same.
Like small.
Yeah. Small potatoes compared to what these other teams have. And so yeah, the Sky needs to figure this out. And hopefully they will relatively soon. Because, if we want to compete in the free agency market, we had all of these players leave. Stephanie Dolson left, went to New York. Courtney Vandersloot left, went to New York. Candace Parker left, went to Vegas. These are organizations that have
these facilities,
these amenities that the Sky doesn't have. And so in order for us to compete in the future, we need to keep up with the Joneses. We really do.
Right.
And so yeah, that's the update. We'll see kind of what happens from here. But yeah, that's that. But speaking of the Sky and things they need to do to compete, they kind of stepped up. The Sky have stepped up in their day of game shop that they have. So we went to the home opener on Friday, and we were pleasantly surprised. We got there early, and we saw a long line, and we saw a setup, and I was like, "Whoa! Are those jerseys?" They had the Chicago Sky had a full merch shop. And this was huge improvement from years past. In years past, they had a small a small little area where they sold a couple T-shirts,
Mhm.
and that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
But now they had tons of T-shirt designs. They had tons of jerseys.
Yes, they did.
And it wasn't like ugly designs. Like stuff looked nice.
Yes, a lot to choose from.
A whole lot to choose from.
I kept looking like, okay, should I get this one? Should I get that one? Or should I get this one? And that's a good problem to have. They had multiple sizes, so it wasn't like, oh, if you are a 2X or even small, that you had no chance. They had all these different sizes, an array of different designs, and it was just like they had hats. I mean, it was just everything. It was just like, oh my God, I need some more money. Right, but I think it was surprising to everybody because people usually walk around, and as people walk to the area, it's like, oh, everybody started getting in line. And when we got in line, it was long, and then it got longer. It's like, oh my God, what if they're going to be done by the time the game started? That's how long the line got. So it was good. It was good to see. So now we don't have to go to Dick's to get the players' jerseys. When sometimes Dick's have them and sometimes they don't. But at least they have a lot of jerseys from all the different teams, So, but we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, it was such a great sight to see. The vast amount of stuff, and like the merch shop, the way they set it up, it looked good. So for those who haven't visited Wintrust Arena, the Sky does not have an actual like store. It's not like a physical store area. They built an area that kind of looks like a store.
Mm-hmm.
Just like right on right near the entrance. And it looks good. Like it took some designing work to make that not look like a hole in the wall.
Right.
They made it look really good. And the Chicago Sky, they actually partnered with Campus Customs to provide a broad amount of options for online and in-person like buying opportunities. And the team shop is located in the upper concourse area at Wintrust Arena. And yeah, it looks good. And this is something that fans have been complaining about for years.
Mm-hmm.
I have a favorite player, but I can't find their jersey anywhere.
Right.
And this was something that Candace Parker dealt with.
Yep.
Took forever to find merchandise, in particular jerseys.
Right. For Under the Sky. For her other teams, yes, you could find those online, but we wanted a Sky jersey.
Yeah, and finally, you're able to buy a Sky jersey, not just of the star player, like for example, Clea Copper. They had both of the Williamses jerseys. They had Marina Mabry's jersey. They had Rebecca Gardner jersey, which you picked up.
Yep, I got that.
They had Dana Evans jersey, which I did not buy on a Sunday. We got there late, so I didn't. Okay. I didn't get in line for that. I didn't want to miss the game. But I will be copying that Dana Evans jersey. But yeah, just very exciting news.
Mm-hmm.
For the Sky, and also I think there are other teams around the league who are doing a better job of making sure that their fans are, the fans are able to buy the merch they want. Because what we saw is if you build it, people will buy it.
Right.
The lines were long for people getting their merch, and I'm pretty sure the Chicago Sky sold a bunch of merch for in the home opener and also for the game on Sunday. Because people, they're like, hey, I'll give you my money if you actually give me what I want.
Right.
And people said they wanted jerseys, and this is what they're getting. So, exciting news. All right. So, yeah, the Sky just kind of been on the move doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Positively.
Yes, positively. And I want to talk about another partnership that the Sky has.
Yes.
Ford
dealership.
Yes. So the Chicago Sky and the Illinois Ford Dealers Advertising Association have agreed to a multi-year agreement, and it makes Ford the official vehicle partner for the Chicago Sky.
Mm-hmm.
you know, Ford has a bunch of dealerships in Illinois.
Yes, they do.
146 Ford dealerships stretch across Illinois, and also Northwest Indiana. So lots of dealerships have agreed to partner with the Chicago Sky. And one cool thing about this partnership is, these Chicago Sky players get to drive around in a Ford vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
They're outfitting all Chicago Sky players in premier Ford vehicles while receiving premium marketing assets from the team. If you watch the Sky game, you see that the Ford logo is right underneath the free throw line.
Right.
And there's Ford is on the team's warm up shirts. And this just shows that the Sky is able to solidify these bigger names for these agreements, and so that's pretty exciting. It gives some great opportunity for more visibility for the Chicago Sky, and also gives extra perks for the Sky players, which who doesn't want to drive around in the new Ford Bronco?
Right.
So kind of
So all of the players will be getting a vehicle?
Yes.
Wow. So some of them probably choose. I wonder if they have a choice of which one they would drive, or is the line that the Ford dealership wants to be seen.
Yeah, I saw a video of Courtney Williams pulling up in a Ford Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
Looked pretty good.
Okay.
Looked pretty good. So Sky owner Michael Alter, he talked about the agreement, and he said the Chicago Sky are thrilled to officially announce our partnership with the Illinois Ford Dealers Association, a group that closely aligns with the values of the team. The partnership is another step in our pursuit to provide world-class amenities for our players.
Mm-hmm.
And we could not be happier to see our players driving vehicles made by such an iconic and world-class brand.
Yes.
So, kind of cool.
Yes, it is.
Ford has a big presence in Chicago. There is a Ford plant that's not that far from Wintrust Arena where the Chicago Sky play. And so I think of all vehicle brands, this is the best one.
Yes, for them.
Yeah. So exciting times for the Chicago Sky.
Yeah, moving on up.
Yeah. And they, lots of partnerships. Got a brand new app that they just redesigned.
Okay.
That looks pretty good. I use their app for our tickets, and
okay.
It looks better, better than it has before. They have for sure updated that. The WNBA has updated their app, so everyone's doing a little bit bigger and better things in the world of women's basketball. But before we go, I wanted to just mention the fact that I made TV. I was on TV yesterday. I during the Sky game, you weren't able to make the game on Sunday.
TV.
And turns out I was on TV.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. So those who are League Pass subscribers, watch the Chicago Sky versus Dallas Wings game and let me know if you spot me in the crowd. Let me know in the comments if you see me there. I made a cameo on TV. So yeah, that's the video. What else about the Chicago Sky do you want to talk about?
I think we covered a lot, in particular about the new players and the injuries, in their upcoming game. I think you covered a lot, especially with the new sponsorship with Ford. I didn't know all the ladies would get vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
I knew about the sponsorship, but I didn't know that's what it meant. So I think that's great.
Kind of cool, right?
Yeah. And it means that the ownership is trying to improve what the ladies are able to receive. And hopefully this will next year, because we don't want to lose these women we just got this year. Hopefully they'll want to stay for the 24-25 season and just build upon what we already have. And because I don't know how far we'll go in the season, as far as hopefully we will make the championship, the playoff.
Oh yeah, well,
Hopefully we will make the playoff.
I think we will.
Okay, so if we make the playoffs, how far we'll go in, and then look forward to building up on that next year. But gotta have those. You don't need to lose those pieces that you just built up to get where you are. So hopefully, we can improve, continue to improve, and I think that's where they're going.
Yeah,
I think that's where they're going.
I think so. The Chicago Sky is for sure getting better and better and better. Like I mentioned, the Sky has a game on Tuesday against the Atlanta Dream, which is a game that we should win. And then on Friday, June 2nd, we're back at Wintrust Arena and we play
game.
We play our former players. We play the New York Liberty.
Wow. Now that's a game to watch.
This is the return home for Courtney Vandersloot and Stephanie Delson. So this should be a fun game. My thought is that the Chicago Sky will lose against the New York Liberty. I try to pride myself on being a realistic fan. So while I want the Sky to win every game, I know it's not likely they'll win every game. I think they'll lose against the New York Liberty, especially being out, having Gardner out of rotation, and hopefully Morgan Birch is back by then. But if she's out, if the Sky win against New York, I think we need to seriously consider making it extremely far in the playoffs if we beat New York, because New York is stacked. They're one of the super teams.
But anything is always possible.
It is. Keep hope alive.
Yeah, anything is possible because it's the energy that each player brings, and if they rise to the occasion, because sometimes a better team makes you better.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know what can happen.
That is true. Fingers crossed.
So that's what I always look at.
Yeah.
I know you always look at the potential of all the players as a whole, but I always look at if you got enough energy and you had a home game, anything is possible for you to win.
Mm. Well, let's hope so. That game will be on Ion.
Okay.
Friday's game was on Ion as well. Ion is a new WNBA partner for TV rights. So for 2 weeks in a row, the Chicago Sky will be on Ion. So you can watch your Blue Bloods first, watch the Chicago Sky, and then get back into watching Blue Bloods. So yeah, that's that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And thanks for supporting the Talking Sky with Mom podcast. We really appreciate you guys watching these videos and interacting with us in the comment section. If you can please like this video before you go, and please subscribe to this channel. Please tell a neighbor, tell a friend about the awesome people talking about the Chicago Sky. We have podcast episodes likely every week, roughly every week. And after home games when we can make it happen. So if you're interested in learning more about the Chicago Sky, subscribe to this channel and follow us for more. Yeah, I think that's it. We cover just about everything. So thanks guys for watching. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.